tonight, Fayetteville City Council unanimously passing the establishment of a first-of-its-kind Bill of Rights for firefighters in the city and Arkansas. The Bill of Rights will provide basic protections for the firefighters for disciplinary and promotional actions. It was a proposal sponsored by Mayor Molly Ron. This proposal comes from Act 686. It's a new state law that recommends municipalities establish a Bill of Rights for firefighters. It'll be the first of its kind in the state. Fayetteville City Fire Chief says the city already does a number of things in the ordinance, but says he hopes it's an example for other places in the state.
That's not the case all across the state, right? I mean, this is a very important part of legislation to a lot of departments that, and we're hoping maybe that we can be the example by stepping forward and adopting this and making it official, that it's, Fayetteville's official law.
An ordinance is not expected to impact the budget, according to a memo from tonight's city council meeting. Meanwhile, Fort Smith city directors decided tonight they need more time to decide the future of 3 historic cemeteries that have been suffering from a lack of funding for years. The problem with the cemeteries has been going on for years. A lack of funding and mismanagement led to the cemeteries being overgrown and in need of repair. Fort Smith Cemeteries, Inc. is a nonprofit that has been running the 3 cemeteries for the last 5 years and has racked up more than $600,000 in debt.
Truth is sobering. Cemetery operations have been sustained by the financial contributions of a very few handful of people, private individuals, including myself, and this is neither scalable or responsible as a long-term strategy.
3 options were up for discussion at tonight's city directors meeting, but directors decided to table the issue until they can talk more about it during a study session. Largest county fair in Arkansas is now off and running. It's a yearly tradition at Washington County that dates back to 1857. From bull riding to amusement park rides to seeing farm animals, there's a little something for everyone and the entire family. Annual fair also highlights the hard work of young FFA and 4-H students.
I go out about 3 times a week and ride in -degree weather and over 100-degree weather. And you have to also make sure that your horse is getting enough exercise and making sure that they have enough nutrients, especially for a nice show horse.
County Fair, by the way, continues through Saturday. Gates open at 10 o'clock every morning. In national news, the White House working now to set up a face-to-face meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin in the next couple of weeks. Comes a day after President Trump hosted President Zelensky at the White House. Torian Small has the story.
President Trump is working to coordinate a meeting between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin, which would be the first face-to-face meeting between the two leaders since Russia invaded Ukraine.
There are many options that are being discussed by our national security team right now with both parties.
On Monday, as he hosted President Zelensky and European leaders at the White House, President Trump suggested he might take part in a meeting with the two leaders.
I'll set up a meeting with President Putin. And if you'd like, I'll go to that meeting. And not that I want to do that, but I will do that.
But on Tuesday, White House officials said the president thinks it makes sense for Putin and Zelensky to meet one-on-one.
The president has always said that there are areas of disagreement in this war that will have to be discussed and decided upon by these two countries. And so he wants these two countries to engage in direct diplomacy.
The timing of the meeting remains uncertain, but the White House has indicated it hopes to solidify a plan by the end of the week.
CBS News has learned Budapest, Hungary is among the locations under consideration to host talks. On Monday, President Trump discussed with President Zelensky security guarantees which would protect Ukraine from future Russian invasions. The White House said Tuesday those guarantees will not involve U.S. troops on the ground.
The president has definitively stated U.S. boots will not be on the ground in Ukraine.
The White House says the specifics of security guarantees are being negotiated. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
In Alaska on Friday, and again in a phone call last night with the White House, President Putin proposed holding the talks in Russia, but that location is believed to be out of the question for President Zelensky. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has revoked the security clearances of dozens of current and former national security officials. The source says they include people involved in investigating Russia's efforts to influence the 2016 election. A DNI memo accused them of politicizing or weaponizing intelligence for personal or partisan agendas. Gabbard's move is the latest in actions by senior Trump administration officials to discredit the intelligence community's 2017 assessment that Russia tried to intervene in the 2016 election in support of President Trump. Frozen shrimp sold at Walmart is being recalled in 13 states, including here in Arkansas. The FDA says Great Value brand frozen raw shrimp could have been exposed to a radioactive isotope, but they say they found the exposure in shipping containers, not in any of the shrimp in the food supply itself. It affects products with a best buy date of March 15, 2027. The FDA says anybody who has purchased the product should throw them away right away. City of Fayetteville announcing an extension on its curbside collection program. The city collected more than 11 tons of food waste during its first phase from January through July. Well, now those who take part will get a 5-gallon bucket that's collected every 2 weeks. They receive new clean buckets after each pickup. Fayetteville has made a goal of reducing the waste in landfills by 40%. They say it's an important process for not only landfill reduction, but reducing harmful impacts on the environment.
So food waste makes up about 20% of the total waste stream that goes to the landfill. And when that food waste breaks down in the absence of oxygen in the landfill, it creates methane. Methane's a harmful greenhouse gas. It's like 30 times more harmful than carbon dioxide.
All of the food, by the way, is taken to the city's compost facility off Armstrong Avenue. You can also purchase nutrient-rich soil that comes from the compost at that facility. Fayetteville Public Library is set to reintroduce bees to its rooftop after a devastating fire forced their removal last year. That fire caused by a device used in beekeeping. Library Board approved new safety measures last night to prevent future incidents. They say a new type of smoker developed in Europe will replace the previous smoker to ensure safety.
After the fire, I immediately went out and bought a $300 smoker that actually uses vapor and electricity. There's no fire involved. And the reason for smokers are a very important tool for beekeepers because bees communicate with pheromones.
Library plans for the relocation to happen in early spring of next year, along with adding an educational program to raise awareness about bee conservation. Well, new tonight at 10, a Northwest Arkansas man sharing what he experienced after trying to help one of 2 American cruise passengers who drowned in separate incidents at Carnival's new Celebration Key Resort in the Bahamas. Police say a 79-year-old man lost consciousness while snorkeling, and just hours later, a 74-year-old woman was pulled from a pool. CBS News reports both were traveling with their families, and tonight, 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer tells us what this Tawny Town man saw.
We love it. It's a time to get away. It's a lot of fun. You can relax on a cruise.
John Kopta of Tawnytown was vacationing with his wife when he witnessed the unthinkable.
I think for me, I'm a dad, you know, and a grandpa, and once the adrenaline kicks in, you're not thinking anything.
Kopta says he noticed something was wrong as there was a snorkeler at the bottom of the shallow ocean not moving. He and another bystander immediately went to help, but it was too late.
I was, oh my God, my wife and I hopped off and I ran over there about the same time he got there, and we went down. He grabbed him by the arms, brought him up. I grabbed his legs, brought him up, and he was lifeless at that point.
He watched as lifeguards and emergency crews tried as hard as they could to save the 79-year-old man.
I thought you guys responded in adequate time. I mean, at one point there was 10 lifeguards surrounding, you know, making a perimeter, and the other ones were working on him, and the EMTs came with the sirens on the ATVs on the sand, and I thought they did everything they could.
2.5 hours later, a 74-year-old was found unresponsive. The initial police report says she lost consciousness while swimming in a pool at the resort. And as the reality of what happened set in, Kopta said all he could do was pray.
My wife and I both have looked at each other. Did we miss something? Did we not hear something? And I don't think there was. I don't think there was anything that he did that show that he was drowning. I just want the family to know, our condolences, and if there's anything we need to answer for the family, we will do that.
Covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Carnival is providing support to the victims' families. Authorities in the Bahamas say they're still waiting for autopsy results before releasing final causes of death.